The High King Mathon ruled the bleak, silent fields of wintertide. He kept the season as it should be. The blizzards howling, the skies filled with snow in the gloom of a long night. He purified the land under a white blanket and allowed death to end the slow decay of autumn. The woods paid homage in leaves. The waters paused at his arrival. The world revered him in a barren stillness.
Do not be alarmed, young one. I am not your enemy. Not all of the Winter Fae have joined the ranks of the Tuatha. I did not join the Tuatha when they came, even as other that I cared for fell under their spell. The Great Cycle and the balance are what I follow. This war of theirs is lunacy. Even here, the Tuatha created death and destruction. When they summoned Baelor, the region was consumed in flames. It will be a long time before anything grows in the charred path he left behind. I do not understand them or their new god. My friends among them have become wild, not like themselves at all. They are cruel and distant now, fanatical in their beliefs. I am awaiting the return of my beloved, Alea. She fell under the spell of the Tuatha and marched north with their vile army. Among them she perished, one of the many to fall at Melsenshir. I wonder, could you help me with a small task? I need this ring placed inside of a hollow. I am forbidden from entering Ranil. When Alea fell under the spell of the Tuatha, I tried to convince her that it was lunacy, but her belief was fanatical. She banished me from her presence and that of her hollow. Thank you, mortal. Alea's hollow is called Ranil. It lies on the southern edge of the Keening. There is a small altar at its bottom. Place the ring there. I wish to show Alea that my love has remained true, and that I wait for her still. My beloved, we have always been together through every turn of the Great Cycle. But with the coming of the Tuatha, she changed. She no longer cared for the balance, only for their new god. I tried to convince her to return to the cycle, but she wouldn't listen. She marched with the Tuatha army to Melsenshir and fell during the battle. Ranil is a Fey hollow on the southern edge of the Keening. It is where Alea returns after each turn of the Great Cycle. Go to Ranil. It's a hollow on the southern edge of the Keening. Place the ring on the altar you will find there. By doing so, we shall demonstrate to Alea that my love for her remains true. Farewell.
The House of Sorrows is...
The way to the House of Sorrows does not lie here.
There's much I need to do now that Ajin's come to our camp. What do you need?
Always looking to make a bit of coin.
We are the faithful.
The way to the house of...
You have come, as he said you might. Have you found our King Bizarrain waiting for you in Cursewood? The Winter Fae need your help, but it is only Bizarrain's place to tell you of our plight. Remember. Please, mortal, remember.
Solemn, solemn, hallowed tree, glory to the graveyard be. Far from forests of the west, do the dying have this rest.
And so you have come, whether to aid the house or rain punishment on the Tuatha, I do not know. That you are here is enough. To assuage your confusion, I am Bizarane, king of the house. During your trials, I will observe and communicate to you through this medium. This is about you, of course. You are the only mortal to be given a chance to join the House of Sorrows. But do not think such an offer is given out of honor or respect for you. What drives me to this offer is what brought you here. Necessity. Through the crystal you see before you, it is not magical in and of itself, but a conduit for my own magic. All your actions will be known to me. Every word will be listened to. What you do is of no concern to me. What I hope to evaluate is what you are, to know how you might best help the house. I have locked the way behind you. The way forward is your only path out of these halls. I can tell you no more, other than that I will be watching.
Mortal, the beast will kill me if you do not help. Beast roam these halls, mortal. Once these lands were quiet, gentle. Now they mean to kill all that tread upon it, even the Winter Fae. My people have lived in peace for decades, centuries. But now we're awash in war and corruption, and we cannot stop it. I do not know. The Midden, it has been sullied. We've never feared such assaults until recently. Wait, what was that? It is here!
so you have completed your first trial. Your actions spoke volumes, but your reactions are just as pertinent. You killed the creature that was chasing that woman. Why? Your crude attempts to elicit answers will not advance you any farther with me. Ahead, you will find a Fae of Sorrows, dying of poison. I hope you display more finesse when dealing with him.
Please, are you the mortal that Bizarrain has brought to aid us? The one he is promised? Thank mercy, I have been poisoned. But now that you are here, you can kill me. Please, end my suffering. I do not know. It is some poison. In other times, the Fae would not be vulnerable to this. But we are weaker now. We are prone. I could have walked from this once. But now... Please, mortal. I know it's strange, but the Fae are not like you. Death is different to us. I will rise once more in time, but killing me will let me escape this suffering. I do not know. Everything is blurred. I do not even know where I am. It must have been him. He does whatever he cares with his subordinates. It was Bizarrain. He was meant to save us from the Tuatha, to preserve our oldest traditions, to protect the Winter Fae. You will just let me suffer, cruel.
So, you spared the sword. I wonder, was it some sense of honor that stayed your blade, or something crueler? And so you demonstrated kindness by allowing the poison to burn him into nothingness. I am not heartened by such a contempt of mercy. But my enemies will not value your compassion. Death means little to the Tuatha, for they are soon reborn again. Now, let us complete this trial. You have reached this chamber at last. The time of trial is over. No more apparitions, no more questions. The House of Sorrows has always held a precarious position in this world, and now we hold on to it by the tips of our fingers. You think you have broken the Tuatha's grip on Cluracan. You have not. Even now, the Winter Fae and the House of Sorrows are subject to their malice. I am the King of Sorrows. I have held dominion over these halls, over this house, over the Winter Fae who dwell here. But the war upon Cluracan has sapped me of my strength. Should these times continue, I may become nothing. Nothing at all. It is we who permit the Winter Fae to rise above their basic nature, to foster decay and ruin. A nature that normally divides rather than unites. For a time, the House avoided the war that cleaves this land. But now that war is upon us, and we are not ready. I am not one to take anything on faith. If I wish to know an object's worth, I examine it for myself. This trial is designed to demonstrate your mettle. Because there are trials that I can observe from afar, and others that I must see at hand. We have reached the trial that I must be present for, if I am to test you truly. What you need to do and why you must do it are two very different matters, mortal. I deal in instructions, not explanations. Indeed. Perhaps not. Speak. Now that your trial has concluded, come with me. The Tuatha have yet to break down our doors, but I would not put that past them. The house is poised to collapse from the Tuatha's dissension and destruction, and I need one to help us. Your reactions were real, but the Fae with whom you interacted, Tybri, Kadarok, and myself, were not. They were but apparitions of the Fae you will come to know in this house. As facsimiles, the apparitions were appropriate enough, but I think you will find their real-world counterparts more complex. I know it is not the mortal way to test someone in a manner such as this. The beast, the poison, it was all done out of necessity. I did not need you to understand the trial. I only needed it completed. I do not have time for you to meet the struggles of the house unprepared. Then welcome to our ranks, mortal. The Hearthstone I gave you at the start of the trials will now reflect your affinity with us. Come, join me at the House of Sorrows. I will show you a world stranger than you have ever seen. The Prince of Sorrows once, but now, no longer. He wages a war against the Tuatha with little support but his own strength. Perhaps that is enough for him, but the only thing he will weaken is the house's morale. To your kind, it is a celebration of war. But before your mortal corpses were hung there by Tuatha, it was the emblem of our house's duty. The most reverent corpses were placed not in the midden, but hung upon those boughs to show all of nature that we still revere our essence of decay. But like all things in these lands, the tree has been defiled by war. Saturnin took our greatest symbol and turned it to filth. My summer brethren embody the growth and progression of nature. As such, establishing the summer realms came easy to them. But the winter fae bear the burden of regression and decay in their essence. Left alone, they would never be able to overcome such a weight. They could never unite. The house's founder, the Weeping King, took on their sorrows and freed them. We carry the burden inherent in the winter fae, so they can achieve greatness. The House of Sorrows made a pact with the Tuatha. They would not interfere with us if we did not interfere with their war with the Alfar. Of course, the Tuatha did not trust us, so they insisted that a new king be appointed to the house, one agreeable to both parties. In the end, I was the one chosen. I was to be king. But in answering that call, I have been labeled a traitor by many within the house. He is the agent of the Tuatha, and though he bears their allegiance, his appearance is that of a winter fae. I am certain of it. I know little of him, but of me and my house, his knowledge is wide and deep. With every action, he reveals that he is merely toying with us. He is not a type of foe I am familiar with, for he does not attack outright. Instead, he instills fear and despair. The Midden is the cradle in which our race of winter was fostered. It is a place of rot, of decay, a place where the House of Sorrows holds reign. The Fa Kelidae, they call themselves. The Faithful. They take the Fae of Winter and craft them into an army. But they know little of true devotion. If we are to discuss the plight of the house, I will do so at its heart. Come, meet me in the main hall of the House of Sorrows, and we will speak more. Speak. Speak. I have a task for you. Of late, there are many in this house who have come to view my authority with disdain. As such, there is need of someone unbiased by our house's history and the traditions therein. Someone such as you. We must move quickly. The Tuatha will not hold their strikes for long. Let us stop their next blow. You fail to understand. Although the Tuatha wage war with us, as they have with the Alfar, they do so by other methods. Our enemies are subtle. They target individuals, not armies. They strike at convictions, not cities. And by doing so, they can retreat to where we cannot find them. For all our years of struggle, we know only this, that our enemy is led by a Tuatha agent, Saturnin. He is the master of this shadowy coup. We cannot right now. He hides himself and covers his tracks well. But I have a lead which you will investigate with one of our delvers, Tybri. A tender, Katarak, has fled the house and killed a fellow member in doing so. I suspect Saturnin's influence, or perhaps that Katarak might be Saturnin himself. Bring Tybri to the body of Kadarok's victim. Though dead, the sorrows will remain on the corpse. The sorrows can lead us to Kadarok. Members of the house may choose one of two paths. The path of the Delver, or the path of the Tender. Delvers are those who commune with the sorrows of the living Fae and the recently deceased. They draw forth these sorrows and assume them. However, most Delvers lost their talent over these last few centuries. But our youngest, Tybri, shows some promise. The Tenders are those sacred few who oversee the decay and decomposition of a Winter Fae's body. They also oversee the Midden itself, for like a body, the Midden is a physical thing, a vessel for rot and ruin, that which is required for death to become rebirth. Finally, they once tended to the gallows tree, but that was before the Tuatha perverted it. There is a tender named Kadarok who has fled our ranks. He is somehow tied to Saturnin. I am certain of it. I want you to find him and put an end to him. For if he is not Saturnin himself, then he is betraying our secrets to the Tuatha.
Mortal, there is something that requires the attention of one of your kind. You have been to the Midden, yes? The sacred ground being desecrated by the corpses of your kind? If there was anyone meant to bear the title King of Sorrows, it was him. Had we not succumbed to the Tuatha's bargaining, he would have been king. Instead, we turned our backs on him. The gallows tree is the silent sentinel of the Midden, demonstrating how life grows out of death. It justifies our existence, defines it. It is a symbol not only of the House of Sorrows, but of the Winter Fae. To bear one's corpse upon it was a sacred rite, until the Tuatha defiled it with mortal remains. It is from these halls that we of the House safeguard the oldest traditions of winter. It must be shown due reverence. I have nothing more to say about him other than history will know him as the victor. It was a gift of the earth to commemorate the rot and decomposition of the Fae. Then the Tuatha sullied it with the corpses of their prisoners. Mortals do not decay like Fae do. Mortals putrefy and corrupt. The Midden and the House now feel this grisly taint. We keep the Midden as a monument to the debt we Winter Fae have made with nature. But now the Midden is defiled, and we can do our task no longer. The nature of my request is not something the Midden needs, but something the Midden should do without. The corpses of your brethren have been thrown into the Midden as a declaration of hostility by the Tuatha. But they do more than signify a point. Their corruption and rot have drawn an ancient Lianshi, Mithgra, from slumber. She gluts herself on the bodies and will further corrupt the Midden if unchecked. To feed, Lianshi are drawn to death and decay, something Winter Fae embody in spirit, but which mortals embody in flesh. When mortal corpses began appearing in the Midden, Mithgra was unable to resist the temptation before her, and now she runs rampant. You cannot hope to solve the problem with a simple application of violence. The Athra is old, and she is wise to obvious attacks on her. Searching will yield no quarry, so you must be cunning. If we cannot find her in the Midden, we can force her to return to her den beneath the house. Find fresh corpses, the ones Mithgra prefers to eat, and cremate them. With no food to scavenge, she will return to her den. Then, you can kill her. She is an ancient and powerful Lianchi. Normally she hibernates in the Midden, but the recent influx of dead mortals has driven her to feed. It will only be a matter of time before she further corrupts the Midden with her presence. For the house's sake, she must be put down. With great difficulty. She is clever, and hides well when any come hunting for her. To search for her outright would be folly. But with some cunning, we can force her to appear. Mithra prefers fresh corpses. Destroy those, and she would likely return to her den to wait for more. Locate any fresh corpses you can find, and cremate them. Without food, she will stop scavenging and return to her den. Make haste! Speak.
And so you come. The least powerful of us in some regards, the most powerful in many others. I am Rorid, mortal, one of the tenders of the Midden. There are those that flee the house, as a crow fleeing a coming storm, but Sidon is more than that. He seeks to free us from the Tuatha. Nothing good remains for us. Too much has already been lost in this struggle with the Tuatha. I have always lived my life here in this house. What will become of me when it is gone? Are our fates bound, or will they be undone? We were hurt the most by the befouling of the Midden. Of those that bay for the Tuatha's blood, none do so louder than the tenders. There is little that can be done for this place now. The Tuatha have sullied our ancestral cradle with the bodies of mortals. It may be changed forever. Be wary.
Greetings, mortal. I am a tender of the Midden. I have been instructed to offer you what insight I can give about the art of dispelling. Though we are targeted by Tuatha, Sidon is the only one who wages open war against them. For good or ill, I do not know. I have always felt magic's call, but in the Midden, the call is strongest. It allows me to see charms and spells and undo them. This I teach to all who listen. Once, we lived in the wilds of the Midden, but as the place became defiled, we had to take refuge in these old halls for fear of the beasts outside, and of Saturnin. If there is nothing else we can do, if we cannot bring a lasting peace for our house, then at least let us bring an end to Saturnin. In many ways, we are the keepers of the house in flesh, as the Delvers are the keepers of the house in spirit. We embody the corporeal. Be warned, mortal. The Midden is no longer what it once was. It is a place of beasts and dark, putrid magic, unsafe to all who enter. Remember.
So, there is a mortal after all. Bizarrain has done little in his time as king that has been quite so progressive as welcoming a mortal into our fold. His is the voice that cries out when struck dead. I see only doom for our people, and neither Bizarrain nor Sidon can avert it. In time, they might be able to perform their roles once again, But what use are delvers that can hear no sorrow? Tensions run high among their ranks. Quiet place once. I used to watch the rooks and crows rest gently upon its boughs. But now the beasts are savage things, glutting themselves on rotten flesh. How fitting, I think, that this place becomes like the bodies we tend. Empty, cold, and eventually consisting of nothing. It is said that Saturnin is one of us, one of the house. But who? Why would one of us betray us to the Tuatha? I have given up, mortal. It is the way of life to struggle, I think, in the jaws of death. But how can we consider ourselves devout if we struggle? No. Let us lay down our arms, let us lay upon the midden soil and pass on. Be safe.
It seems there were more to the rumors of Bizerane's pet mortal than I gave credit. I am Matea, Lord Keeper of the House. I hold the lore of the house in my being. It is a responsibility that I alone can bear. As such, I am neither Delver nor Tender. Though he fights in the name of our people, I cannot help but feel abandoned by him. I only hope this war does not consume him. Delvers are not chosen. Though many wish to follow in the steps of the Weeping King, few have his gift. Those that do, then, are compelled to serve as he did. There has always been a House of Sorrows, it seems. Not long after the birth of the Winter Fae came the Weeping King, and with him, the House. There is no precedent for a foe like this. Even in the ancient wars, no Fae ever acted in a manner such as Saturnin. I am at a loss to know what we must do to stop him. I do not believe it is a victory we can achieve. Delvers see to the sorrows of a Fae, but Tenders see to his flesh. When a Fae dies, Tenders take the body to the Midden and see it safely into rot. Once a gentle place where the bodies of the Winter Fae were returned to the earth, the Midden is now a mire of filth, of putrid mortal death. Be careful when within. Until next time.
Be quick!
The mortal. This house is full more of portents than of sorrow these days. Your arrival must truly be a telling of how dark these times have grown. The beast will be caught, for until now he has not tasted the strength of winter. He will pay for his crimes against us. We were greater once. We had tenders and delvers throughout these lands, not individuals huddled in worry over Saturnin and the Tuatha. I've seen this house in strong winters and weak ones, but I never pledged my being to a beast as winded and laboring as the house is now. The tree is ever quiet, but sometimes you can hear it groan under the weight of the indignities it now bears. Saturnin has gone too far with his latest assault. The outcast? What more is there to speak than to say that he abandoned the traditions of this house out of lust for war and reprisal? Perhaps his motives are just, but nature cares little for what one does in the name of justice, only what one does in the name of survival. Though delvers have heard sorrows in the past, there have, of late, been none that can perform the art. The spirit of the house is flagging, it seems. Beware of Saturnin.
Greetings.
another mortal approaches, even as this one's blood has yet to dry. But my desire to extinguish mortal life has yet to be satiated. Come, you seem a warrior. Why not fight me? Excellent. I hope you provide more of a challenge than this pathetic wretch did. Enough of this farce. I have fought more than enough mortals on your terms, on your ground. Let us see if you are as powerful in my domain. We will finish this fight in my hollow, Tyne Hill. The magics of the Midden run strong in that place. I will be unbeatable!
You did it! What no one else has done. You actually bested that monster. It is much to ask, but none in our camp have been able to stand against him. You must answer his challenge. Fight him again. Kill him, for the sake of our mission. We don't know. He's not Tuatha, but he damn near fights like one. He's been coming here, dueling us one by one. There's some sick point he means to prove by gutting us. And those he doesn't kill outright are dragged back into the Midden with him. Please, we're scouts, not seasoned fighters. We can't complete our mission if this headsman continues picking us off. Thank the gods. If he called you to Tyne Hill, then that means you'll have to fight him there. But be warned, this Fae uses magics we haven't seen before. It's like he's feeding on the energies of this place. Or worse, there are those that fall to the headsman, but then there are others, prisoners. What he does with them in Tyne Hill, no one knows. We weren't very many, but we were sent by the Althar command, ostensibly to make sure the Tuatha didn't have any positions out here. But there was another purpose. We were to try and find a way to give the bodies of our men a proper burial. Suppose I'm the only one that still holds rank around here anymore. My brother Gilman was leading us, but... I hate that damn thing. The Tuatha are using it to lord our own dead over us. I aim to do something about it. He's a Winter Fae. We do not know his name. He comes and butchers one of us, and makes the rest watch. Calls it justice. We don't know why. He just picks one of us, gives them a blade, and cuts them down. Alpha or human, fighter or no. Cluracan has its dark places, but the Midden, it's hard to even stand here. I don't know how you make it look so easy. But we've been sent here for a reason, and we'll stay until we see it through. He's in Tyne Hill. It's a hollow, somewhere in the Midden, I think. But he's only been coming here recently. I cannot tell for certain. Find the headsman. Finish him.
Wait a moment. You are not part of the army, are you? What are you doing here? No matter. We are injured here and need someone fit enough to venture into the Midden to recover some important reconnaissance. Somewhere in this mess of bodies is the corpse of my former scout, Venris. He was carrying the information when the Tuatha caught him. We have a special assignment, to undo the damage to morale here, and to give these bodies a proper burial. The thing is not cursed, but it is eerie seeing it looming over us the way it does. I cannot wait to get out from under its shadow. This place is foul. The Fae act as though it was once a place of great significance, but all this death, Is this truly what they marvel? Even if you knew what Venris looked like, it would not make finding him amongst all these bodies any easier. The wolf knows Venris's scent. He can track it through the midden and lead you directly to the body. Very well. I'll release the wolf now. Follow him and make sure nothing happens to him before he finds Venris. Without him, we have no means of singling Venris's body out from all of the others. It was Venris's pet, and also his friend. They often went on scouting missions together. The two were inseparable. Nearly got gutted trying to scout out the Tuatha after you carried the day in Melsen Shear. So Command sent me here for an easy job. It is clear they never stepped foot in this place. Be careful, or you will end up like me, or worse. I have released Venris's wolf out into the midden. I am hoping the beast can track down the body of his master. If you follow the wolf, then you should have no difficulty in reaching Venris's corpse. Otherwise, there will be no easy way to find Venris. Please, hurry!
Praise be to Mitharu, and may his blessing be upon you for visiting this humble camp. I am Krieger, a humble cleric of Mitharu. I have accompanied these noble Alpha in peace, and I would make use of you in my mission if you are willing. The world needs to know how many of Mitharu's children gave their lives to fighting these heathen Tuatha. You will find an earring upon each soldier who has been slain. Bring the earrings to me, and I will be able to tally the dead. I'm glad to have your help. The soldiers, their bodies are strewn throughout the midden. Every one has made the ultimate sacrifice in service. Collect the earrings from them, and I will give you what I can. Thank you for this, Wanderer. The world must know. Truly, the army is stressing at the seams, but they have enough decency to try and give these poor souls a burial rite. How noble of them. A grotesque monument. That the Fae worship trees is barbarous enough, but does this House of Sorrows find it so saintly to treat bodies so? I'm a humble servant of Mitharu. My abbot asked me to refrain from coming here, but I knew someone had to bring faith to those who suffer. I thought to count the dead, so the history might know the enormity of the bloodshed. But even that has escaped me. A horrid place. This is the holy ground of these winter Fae? This is the form their worship takes? This is nothing but a celebration of death and dismemberment. Mitharu, take me, but the Alpha should not stop at just the Tuatha, it seems. On the corpses of our unfortunate brethren, you can find these bodies strewn throughout the midden. Go with the gods.
and they sleep beneath the limbs, while we sing these mourning hymns as the dead embrace the land in the earth's embalming hand. Wooden gravestones standing tall by the sorrow's weary hall. Are the leaves now bearing fruit? Will the dead now follow suit? Are the Alfar nature's meat food the ravens meant to eat? Why do soldiers hang like tears? Why Tuatha covet fears?
Until one night, when nature changed its course, and Gadflow, like an errant thread frayed from the weave, took the crown from Mathon's head. "A joke," he said. "A joke." And the court swayed in laughter. For Gadflow's was often like the mockingbird, with many calls, but none of his own. He placed the crown upon his head, and smiling, took a crimson sword. He betrayed the Fae with a swing of his newfound freedom. I have waited for you, mortal. It is not the nature of my kind to anticipate. And yet here I am, with these emotions thrust upon me. I have only just awoken in this plane, and yet I find change, chaos running rampant. Who are these Tuatha? What has happened to our midden? The Winter Realm is racked by war. My people's magic in decline, and mortals scurry over my homeland. A travesty that I must right, one mortal at a time. There is an order to all things. Summer to winter, growth to rot. So it was when I last walked these lands. What has happened while I slept is an affront to nature. The Fae declining while you mortals wage open war with them? Impossible. The Winter Court is sundered. If these Tuatha care not for the natural order, then I shall restore it. Come deeper into Tyne Hill and witness the strength of winter. And so you arrive. That you made it all the way to this chamber unscathed is just another reason why you must be killed. Or perhaps I won't kill you outright. The strongest I keep on the edge of life, to use their energies to sustain this place, to rebalance the scales. It will. I shall throw you to the soil, and it will leach your strength. And this land, this people, will be strong again.
So, you were the mortal. There were whispers that Bizarane had welcomed one of you amongst us. But to pick the siege breaker, I am awed. I forget myself. Bizarane has made his wishes clear, and we must do as he asks. Are you ready to begin? I am Tybri. I have only 2 centuries to my name. I was asked to join the house because of my abilities. I can hear them, the sorrows in people, the essence of decay and ruin that precedes winter. I can even hear the sorrows faintly in you. Few delvers are left who can hear any sorrows at all, but never have any claim to hear them as much as I. Many believe me to be a liar, or an abomination. The Midden was once a sacred place for the House of Sorrows, for all winter fae, where the bodies of the dead were left to decompose. Our bodies do not rot as mortal corpses do, so when Saturnin placed the bodies of mortals here, they putrefied, corrupting the Midden. Scavengers and beasts now roam the Midden, and the body we seek is deep within. I must have someone to watch my back. Farewell.
Always open for business when the road is your marketplace. Are you looking to buy? If you need another trade.
What is it?
We cannot talk here. Farewell. Is here. I must begin my work. But the magic is sure to draw the wild fae in the area. Hold them back while I commune with the sorrows. Farewell. Cadoric's sorrows left a strong impression on the corpse. He is hiding in the Siren Crypt in the drowned forest. You should go there, but be wary. The impression Cadoric left on the body was conflicted. Something is not right here. I will return to the house. With the beast beaten back, it should prove safe enough now. Before there was a Court of Winter, before there was a House of Sorrows, there was the Midden, a place where Winter Fae would come to die. The bodies left to rot here mark the covenant of the house. Though the Winter Fae may stave off decay to create its courts and culture, they cannot escape it forever. He is the Faithloke Tocht, the choking vine. He reaches from briars dark and unknown to strangle the life from us. To be a member of the house is a great honor. Without the House of Sorrows, there would be no Court of Winter, no culture in these lands, only winter. We, are the backbone of the house. Delvers can look into the essence of Winter Fae, find the sorrows within, and take upon that burden. The Weeping King was the first to perform this function. The Delvers witnessed his powers, and imitated as they could. Only now, no Delver has this art, save for me. It is the emblem of the house. It is the heart of the Midden. It is said it has always been here, even during the times of the Weeping King. The dead do not speak lies. Cadorok has gone to Siren Crypt in the drowned forest. It was once a mighty fortress, but like all things in this war, it was reduced to ruin. Lesser, cruder beasts and beings walk its halls now. For Cadorok to hide there, it makes little sense. But from what the Sorrows told me, it seems as though he had nowhere else to go. Farewell.
Hanging gallows tree, spreading baleful tyranny, ruined terror of the war, hallowed ground for nevermore.
I have felt the energies of Mithra fade to Ashara, mortal. I am glad that this business is concluded. At least the Midden will not be in danger of corruption any more than it already is. I thank you for your part in keeping it so. As payment, take this bauble. I discovered it on a body on one of your kind. May it be useful to you in your travels. Yes, yes.
It is over then. The headsman will bother our encampment no more. I hate this place. That it might drive a soul to think butchering us was some kind of justice, and what he did to those prisoners. But it's over now. We don't have much to offer, or rather, much to spare. But please, accept whatever reward we can give you. Many thanks, stranger. Goodbye.
You have returned. Have you had any luck recovering earrings from the bodies of our lost? The count must be tallied. Very well. Let me pay you for your services. If you find you have time to look for more, I can always make use of your assistance. Mitharo thanks you. Go with the gods. Hello once more, Wanderer. Have you had any luck in recovering earrings from the bodies of on the corpses of our unfortunate brethren? Go with the gods.
Thank the gods you were able to recover the reconnaissance that then miscarried. This information would have proved disastrous in the wrong hands. When the Tuatha tossed Venris in here, I feared all might have been lost. But thanks to you and his wolf, the armies will not suffer the same fate as Venris. Take this. It is not much, but it is what we can offer, along with our thanks. Thank you for recovering this information. It is not much, but we need to make sure we stay away from the Tuatha's movements. All information helps. Farewell.
You are Bizerane's cat's paw, then? I knew he had let a mortal into the house's ranks. But this is who he sends to do his dirty work. Fie on him! You may return me to the cycle, but if you ever see your master, tell him this. He will never get his hands on the sorrows. I, all of us, will stop him.
Yes. You have finally returned. Much has happened since you were away. The house has been sundered. Not by Tuatha, but by ourselves. The house has rebelled. The other members of the house have marched against the Tuatha. I'm afraid they may have attacked Bizarane. I do not think he is dead, but we must see to him. Saturnin is watching us, I can sense it. If Bizarane is left undefended... It will be difficult for you to understand, but many did not consider Bizarane the true king of our house. While many wanted to war with the Tuatha, Bizarane stayed our hands. And while our house collapsed around us, Bizarane did nothing. I will not lie. Though I see the value of your presence, many felt that bringing a mortal into our ranks crossed the line. With you, Bizarane made his final error. Yes, unfortunately the doors to the house are barred from the inside. I'm capable of shadow stepping through, but I'm afraid that you, as a mortal, must take a longer route. Go through the proving halls, but be warned, Bolgun roam those corridors now. Saturnin's already started moving to crush us. Farewell.
You have arrived as Tybri said you would. It is good that you were able to get through the proving halls unscathed. But there are greater events at work here. The house may have breathed its last. He has wreaked havoc within the house and loosed horrors that none of us dare witness a second time. He is our foe, and he must be stopped. The rebels have begun a march of folly to make war on the Tuatha. As they said, they are rallying at a fortress called the Fallen Hall. I sought to stay them. They ignored me. I sought to warn them. They paid no heed. For them, the war started when I became the King of Sorrows. And now, my reign ends. Saturnin wants this, mortal. Without leadership, the rebels will be easily picked off. And so it falls to you and Tybri to save them. Years ago, the House of Sorrows and the Tuatha made a pact of necessity. The house would remain free of the Tuatha, but could not interfere with their war. In addition, the Tuatha demanded we appoint a more amiable king, one who would uphold the pact. And so I was named. I became the face of our submission, and when Saturnin led the Tuatha to fight us, the house had no reason left to heed me. Saturnin has made a miscalculation in moving to kill these rebels. Namely, he did not foresee you. We must exploit this fact. Saturnin will have to reveal himself in some form. Go south and learn all you can from him. Kill him if possible. I have instructed Tybri to assist you as best she can, but she is not as suited to this work as you, mortal. Look after her. They are in the Fallen Hall. Save who you can, but more importantly, we must learn what we can of Saturnin.
It is a dark place we have come to. I can hear the sorrows of our brothers and sisters. They are crying out with each sword stroke. Saturnin has tainted this place. We must head deeper into the hall. Behind the great cavern there's a holdfast sealed with mighty doors. The rebels will be there, and likely Saturnin as well. Farewell. It is it. Saturnin has tainted this place. Farewell. Look! That must be the leader! That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin, and if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed. The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage. The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defenses. There are 3 sigil stones that control the Holdfast's mighty doors. They are strewn throughout the hall. Activate all of them and the path to the Holdfast will be open. Farewell.
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. You are mistaken, little one. I am not Saturnin. Though I can see where you might have made such a mistake, even I have not seen his face. But I have heard his voice, and the orders it carries, and that is enough. Now, let us fight! You are more amusing than I originally believed, but my master has given me instructions to spare you. Saturnin has a message for you to deliver to your master. This war is over. Soon the sorrows will belong to the Tuatha.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause. For all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin. We must return to Bizrain with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell.
Speak, Saturnin. This latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam. Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Damalrock. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear. It is a manifestation of magic that prevents intruders from disturbing the perpetual reverie of the eldest. From what I understand, the sides of the room take the role of a scale, and whoever wishes passage must use death itself to manipulate the scale. The only weight the pans of the scale will acknowledge is death. When something dies on the scale, it will shift you one step closer to the eldest. Kael'rad and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter. They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Dumelrock and pass the Great Scale. I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies. The Sorrows are an accumulation of the destructive magic that the House has siphoned from the Winter Fae over centuries of existence. The Delvers of the House did this to enable the Winter Fae to create the Court of Winter, but knowledge of the art and the Sorrows' location are lost. Still, the Sorrows represent a monstrous collection of magical energy. We must deny Saturnin access to it.